Hearing the young soldier scream, everyone runs to the backside of the house to see what's happening. The soldier is trying to aim straight, but the hatchlings are difficult to see and the tall, weak kids as they bound around. He picks the rifle up to try and get one of the hatchlings as they're in the air. Suddenly, he can't see. He looks and Rihanna has her hand over his optic. Soldier says, "What are you doing? They're going after those kids." Rihanna smiles a little and lets out a high-pitched whistle. Everything in the field stops and looks over and sees John waving to them to come over. The children run over with the dragons in tow. The soldiers are dumbstruck at what they're seeing and yet hold onto their weapons tight as they still don't know. The kids stop only a few meters from John and Rena. Rihanna asks, "What have we told you about the hatchlings?" The kids, mostly together, "Don't play with them unless an adult is around." Rihanna, "Is there one in the barn?" The kids slowly, "No, ma'am." Rihanna, "Then bring them back to the yearling. Now." The lieutenant, "Hold on a second. Are you raising dragons?" John steps in. "No, we saved them from being obliterated," as they all watch the young children and the dragons run back to the barn. The lieutenant asks, "Why?" John replies, "Would you ask the same question if it were cats or dogs? Perhaps if we're going to say we're destroy all the sharks because they look because they look mean or something. Does that make it right?" The lieutenant says, "Well, no." John walks over as one of the hatchlings has not walked away yet. These animals serve a purpose. They are part of the ecosystem now, whether we like it or not. These ones we saved from your gunship. He kneels next to one, slowly scratching it underneath its jaw. This one was still in his egg when we found him. The lieutenant, "They seem so tame." He moved closer for a better look. The hatchling steps back and begins growling at a little. The lieutenant continues, "What are we going to do with them?" Rihanna chimes in, "We're going to set them free. It's the celebration we were talking about." The lieutenant, "When is this going to happen?" Rihanna replied, "In about 2 days." The lieutenant comes in, "I'd like to see that." Children finish bringing the dragons back to the barn and leave them with the yearlings. The soldiers don't have much to do while they wait for their men to heal, so they help out around the place. It was less than a day before they found out that farm work can be a lot more difficult than even fighting. Some of the crops are getting ready to pick, and animals need to be tended. One of the soldiers even rides a horse bareback across the town. John and Rena keep working on their farm and show off their young son. The day last, the bandages come off the yearling and is ready. The entire village waits in anticipation as the large doors are open and the yearling slowly walks out. The hatchlings are underneath her as she moves out into the open. She looks around as almost to say thanks, takes a few steps, raises her wings, and is up. Everyone watches as the hatchlings join her. They seem to circle the village as they take off into the distance. A soldier is recording the event and is still watching the video later. It is another village party and everyone is turned out. There's drinking and dancing along with some very lame speeches. This time there's no incident and the soldiers are gone again in a few more days. And things are once again back to normal. As they finish their harvest and prepare for winter, Rihanna and John are stocking their cabinets. Rihanna looks, "It was a really good harvest this year." John replies, "Definitely." As Rihanna steps back and looks at it, it's a beautiful sight. As she stares at the packed cupboards, John turns around and looks at Rihanna instead of the cupboards. "Sure is." They reach for each other, kiss and hold each other close. As things begin to take a turn for the romantic, the baby starts to cry. They look at each other and laugh. John goes in the next room and picks him up. Rihanna seems almost to revel in the sight. She goes over and kisses John again and whispers in his ear, "I want more." John just smiles. In the spring, Rihanna gives birth to a healthy baby girl. This time, there is the slight sign of her elven heritage, but not enough to cause suspicion. John seems to be the proudest father in the world, as Rihanna seems to glow as she holds her new baby. The town is definitely growing. New children, new buildings, and even some new equipment is brought in to help out. Life is good for those in the valley. They can almost forget there's still a war going on around the world. It has been over a year since they had to deal with goblins, trolls, golems, or anything else. And it's planting season again. It sure seems to be the longest part of the year. There's no shortage of work to be done. Everyone old enough carries something that helps out. As the new yearly cycle begins, the year continues, and so does the story.